I have waited over 20 years for this to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Griever. I don't normally make a video like this, and I know this is going to come out extremely late compared to everybody else's reactions and reviews and such because it dropped on Friday. It's almost a week later. But I felt the need to talk about this. I felt the need to make this video because Luke goddamn Skywalker, as a Jedi Master, is here. And for everyone asking, oh, is it Sebastian Stan? Oh, is it somebody else? It was Mark Hamill, guys. Mark Hamill showed up. Yeah, it was somebody else doing the stunt work, but it was Mark Hamill. It was Mark Hamill's voice. It was Mark Hamill standing there, and he was just digitally de-aged. And anybody complaining about the CGI, I'm sitting there like, it looked good to me. Like, this is a TV show. It doesn't have the budget to do some Avengers level stuff. So I was totally good with this. It was so unexpected. The hype, the nostalgia of this happening. Like, and I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this out of Mandalorian Season 2. Like, don't get me wrong. When The Mandalorian first came out, I was kind of like, yeah, okay, another Star Wars thing. I haven't seen a solo movie. Yeah, the Kenobi stuff, everyone's talking. There's going to be a Kenobi movie. There's going to be a Kenobi TV show, blah, blah, blah. And I've slowly started to watch like a bit of Clone Wars and a bit of Rebels and stuff. But I'm just kind of like, you know what? I like to stick to what I know. I like Star Wars the way I grew up with it. I'm a bit of a nostalgia nerd. I'm a bit of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of traditional, sort of boomer attitude when it comes to that stuff. But I did not expect at a Mandalorian, when I first started watching it, I intended to make a video. I did make one, but I never got it around to editing it, and it never got off the ground when I first watched Season 1. And I wanted to talk about this series because I was like, a mixture. It's totally unexpected to do this spaghetti western, Firefly-inspired idea within the Star Wars universe, which is part of the video I wanted to make because a lot of the episodes, basically, you could go, that's this episode of Firefly, that's the storyline of this episode of Firefly, that's the storyline of this episode of Firefly. The first season was very similar to the Firefly series. And as a huge fan and nerd of the Firefly series, I own the Serenity movie, I own both on DVD and Blu-ray, blah, blah, blah. I have posters, I have the gun, I have the whole bit. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to Firefly. I didn't expect this out of The Mandalorian, and I fell in love with it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a fantastic show. The one thing I didn't expect, not even if this show goes for 10 seasons, did I expect to see Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master, come into the fold. That is something I never expected. We all know that we came into this when you guys can't tell me that there's one X-Wing coming in. I had this very beer glass. And I was sitting, and I have this big chair, guys. I have this huge chair. And yeah, this video has no structure. I'm just going to fanboy this whole video. So if you were expecting something coherent, hit a dislike and get out because this is all this video is going to be about. So I have this big chair, right? Now I've got cup holders in my chair because, why wouldn't I? And the wife hates it, but I love this man chair. So I put my beer down in this thing. And I'm sipping it. Whatever, right? And I'm watching. And I'm enjoying season. I just watched the previous episode on Wednesday. I'd finally gotten caught up. And that was the one with Bill Burr's character. And Bill Burr can goddamn well act. I love Bill Burr. I've loved Bill Burr for years. I didn't know the man had that range of emotion in him. And I thought, this is going to be the highlight of the series. This is amazing. I really want... I might even talk about this episode because I love Bill Burr. And then Friday happened. And then I watched this episode. And then that X-Wing came along. And I was like, I I need to pee, and I need to. This is a real story, guys. I was like, all right, God damn it, I need to pee, and the phone's ringing and all this crap. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pause that. But I was like, the moment that happened, I thought, one X-wing. I was like, Luke Skywalker. Then I went, no. Right away, I said, no. One lone X-wing. I said, it's going to be somebody cool, but probably from Clone Wars or Rebels or something that I'm not too familiar with, right? Like when that what's her name with the Darksaber, all about the Darksaber showed up, the fans lost their minds, but me, as not really being that familiar, like I'm familiar with the Knights of the Old Republic games, I'm familiar with Mandalore and Mandalorian customs and war and all that stuff, but I don't know a whole lot about that, so that Bo-Katan, that didn't mean anything to me as a Star Wars. I'm not into everything Star Wars. So I was like, okay. So I was sitting there going, all right. Calm down. Don't think original trilogy here. Yeah, it's one X-Wing. I'm sure then a squadron's going to come in, and it might be someone from like the Rogue Squadron games or something, right? That's what I'm thinking. So I set my beer down. This is all come to a point. I set my beer down. I go into the kitchen. I answer the phone, blah, blah, blah. Then I come back, and then I hit the play button again. And I'm sitting there here. Let's set the mood. So I'm sitting there like this. Watching. One lone X-Wing. Okay. Dark Troopers attacking the thing. Okay. And then the gates open. And you see the one lone figure, and I'm like, no. And as you can see right now, I'm trying not to spill it, but the beer's bouncing, right? The beer's bouncing. Even though it's in the cup holder, the beer was bouncing because I'm bouncing then under my seat. I'm like, no, they did not do this. They did not. And then green lightsaber. I'm losing my shit. Beer spills all over my beautiful $800, priced regularly at like $2,000. I got a great deal. But this damn chair, beer spilling everywhere. I'm fuck. Everything's going nuts. I'm losing my goddamn mind. That's what's happening. And I'm sitting there going, they didn't. And he's walking through the hall like he's his daddy. He's walking through like Rogue One. Friggin' Darth Vader. Boom, 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 boom. And he's walking through. And then the hand comes up. It's like a Carrie moment, for God's sakes. It's like, Carrie, step aside that whole hand out of the grave moment. Nobody cares about that shit when we finally green lightsaber, force crush this, force crush that, and then and we see the gloved hand, and we know it's the robot hand. We know. And it's just like the hand. And all Star Wars fans collectively lost their shit. See, and that's why I laugh. I don't get mad. I laugh at people suggesting that, oh, well, the CGI had a little bit of flaws. Nobody gives a shit. Not a single actual Star Wars fan gives even less than a penny. The penny in Canada, I don't know where you guys live, but the penny in Canada cost more to make than the penny was worth. So they stopped making them like 6 years ago. That's how little the penny is worth in Canada. 1 cent is worth that much. So, using that as a frame of reference here, when I say that Star Wars fans give less of a shit about that than a Canadian penny, now you know what I'm talking about. Because it's Luke goddamn Skywalker. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if the CGI wasn't flawless. Mark Hamill's like in his 70s or some shit. Nobody cares. We just love that Mark Hamill loves to come back and play this beloved character. Everybody just loves the fact that it's Luke goddamn Skywalker. And I have been waiting. That's why I titled the video this. You see this? I've been waiting over 20 years. Return of the Jedi. Right here. Return of the Jedi. on original VHS, right? Because, and the reason I have this box set to show you guys is because I refuse to buy the DVD and Blu-ray because they are the edited versions. They are the wrong versions. I don't want to hear Darth Vader say no when he kills the Emperor. It was a meaningful moment without that shit. So, I watched the unedited, the one last time Leonard Maltin interview and the whole bit with George Lucas. That's the only version I watch of Star Wars because I'm like that. But I have been waiting. That movie came out in 1983. I was born in 91. I saw Return of the Jedi probably at the age of 4 or 5. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say I didn't remember it and really enjoy it until, let's say, 7 or 8. How's that, right? But according to my dad and stuff, I was watching Terminator, Star Wars, Smokey and the Bandit, all those movies since the time I was very, very small. From the time I was 3 or 4. So I probably did watch it. But I titled this video appropriately and said over 20. But I've been waiting at the very bare minimum 22 years. I'm 30 in a week. I'm going to be 30. I've been waiting 22 goddamn years since I first saw Return of the Jedi on this very VHS tape. This is the actual tape. This is how I watched Return of the Jedi. This is my dad's copy of the original trilogy. He gave it to me and stuff. And this is the very tape that I watched when I first saw Return of the Jedi. And I never saw the other editions until I was already an adult. This is the only way I ever saw Star Wars. Never watched it on TV. None of that shit. I always watched these. So, since I watched this tape as a kid, I have been waiting over 2 decades to see green lightsaber Luke Skywalker in action. Now you can argue that there's the video games and there's CGI short films and there's, you know, all these animated stuff. No, you're not listening. I wanted to see him be an absolute badass, green lightsaber, Jedi robes, going to town like episode 3 Anakin versus Obi-Wan style. That's what I wanted to see from Mark Hamill. That's what I wanted to see from Luke Skywalker for over 20 years. Never got it. I have expanded universe mangas, or not mangas. Actually, I do have a couple of Star Wars mangas. But I have expanded universe novels. I have the books. I have, I don't know if you can see some of them back there. I think there's a few on the shelf. Might be hard to see. But anyways, I have multiple of that. I have comics. I have tons of stuff. But that wasn't what my childhood needed. That's not what I needed. I needed this. I needed to see this. And we got it. It finally happened. I've literally waited. That meme with the Titanic lady. You know, Rose, it's been 87 years. That is so accurate to my goddamn feelings right now. Because I've literally waited 2 decades to see this man. To see this happen with today's technology, today's sword fighting, choreographic, all that crazy shit that's happened in the last, so while. Because they were bound by the limitations of what movies could do and the amount of time they could dedicate to proper sword fighting and stuff. And to this day, I still enjoy the duels from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I still enjoy those duels. But, I mean, as far as, sword fighting and training and all that stuff, they never did most of that back then. I mean, they did, but it was minimal. It was nothing like Lord of the Rings and the current Star Wars films and all that stuff, right? There's intense training to make these look as badass and realistic as possible now. So, I've been waiting so long, and I know I keep harping on this, but once again, this is just a fanboy video, so whatever. And it happened, guys. It happened. He showed up. It was one of the most emotional TV moments. I didn't cry, but I could feel it. It was one of the most nostalgic and greatest moments I've ever seen on screen. It truly was. I can name a couple more, but you guys probably won't even know the shows and stuff. But this moment for me, and this is not just for me. This, I know that there has been people. I know there are guys my father's age, and when my dad finally gets around to watching The Mandalorian, he'll shit a brick too, that watched this and did the exact same thing. There's been guys that actually saw Return of the Jedi in 1983, and they've been waiting a lot longer than me. So, seeing the Jedi come back, Luke Skywalker come into this show, totally unexpected. Like, sure, people expected with The Mandalorian we were going to get a Boba Fett cameo. And I was actually surprised that they got the, I forget his name, but the actual actor to play Jango Fett and, now the current Boba Fett and all that stuff. I was surprised that they got him to do this. But I was really happy they did. We get these cameos, Ahsoka Tano and all that stuff. Like, we were getting cameos, and it was great. We actually had Kyle Reese in the episode before that with the Ahsoka Tano stuff. We had Kyle Reese's, I forget his actor name, but the guy in the original Terminator. So they're bringing back they're bringing in a few sci-fi veterans to the people in flagship things like the Terminator sci-fi movies, which, I mean, you could argue, but they're still sci-fi, right? These big names, they're bringing them in, to showcase, the Mandalorian and stuff. And we got Carl Weathers in here and stuff like that. Like, we have plenty of characters and cameos that is just like, all right, this is cool. I'm good with this, yeah. But did anybody actually expect this? Because I certainly didn't. And I'm just blown away. I am so thrilled that this happened. It was unexpected. I lost my shit. All the memes, there were so many memes about people going, one X-Wing. It's only one X-Wing. You see the Joey meme from Friends, one X-Wing showing up. One X-Wing. And then you see the Office one. Everyone stay calm. Everyone stay calm. It's only one X-Wing. It's only one X-Wing. Everyone stay calm. The green lightsaber. Everybody stay calm. That was my reaction. Legitimate and true. I really do wish I had had a camera recording, guys. I think you would have enjoyed seeing me fangirl all the shit when this was happening. Because I stood up, beer was flying. It was like the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl. I was just, because unlike the Dallas Cowboys, I've been a football fan since I was about 12. I've been a Star Wars fan before I could walk. So I've been waiting a lot longer for this shit. And yeah. I don't think I have anything more to say. This video is going to go on. I could go on for hours. I could make this video into a 2-hour rant about Luke Skywalker, how fantastic he is, how Mark Hamill came back, how amazing it is, how nobody gives a shit if the CGI was not absolutely perfect, like Mark Hamill actually managed to do some plastic surgery and de-age himself by 30 fucking years, and everyone's like, oh, well, it's not perfect. Fuck off. Nobody cares. It's Luke Skywalker. Nobody cares. Luke Skywalker walked down a hallway and pretended to be Darth Vader for 5 minutes. It was the best thing to ever happen to the Star Wars franchise. One thing I forgot to bring up is that, yes, you could argue that, Mark Hamill did reprise his role in the sequel trilogy. We all know sequel trilogy is not that great. Prequel trilogies look like goddamn gold Oscars compared to the sequel trilogy. I'm a fan of that. But the only good thing to come out of The Last Jedi, and yes, Rise of Skywalker is better, guys. The only good thing to come out of The Last Jedi was all the moments with Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill. And you could call that based on nostalgia and stuff, but I think Mark Hamill is the only good damn reason to watch The Last Jedi. And he had a few great moments. But this moment is what we wanted in the sequel trilogy. This whole idea of starting again and stuff. Why didn't they just... it's like when they make these films, they don't listen, they don't go on the internet. It's like once Disney got a hold of it, they went, okay, so we have fans that have been watching this since 77. All right. Maybe we should go on the internet and see what they want in the sequel. Nah, what do they know? They've only been fans of the series for 50 goddamn years. What do they know? We'll just make stuff that we think is good. And then they give us this. And the sequel trilogy is not in places as bad as some people say. It's definitely not that great. It's definitely the weakest of the three trilogies by a margin, by a long mile. But there were some great moments. But most of them included the original actors from this bad boy. So, I mean, let's be realistic here. At the end of the day, this was the best thing to happen to Star Wars. All the memes about, don't worry, Mary Sue, me and Space Pikachu got this and stuff, they were right. Not only did they not need to do this because The Mandalorian was this popular, the fact that they chose to do this. They didn't need to do it. But they wanted. Jon Favreau, Mark Hamill, all the people involved with this show, everybody knew that this would make everyone thrilled. Everyone would lose their shit in the best type of way. It wasn't necessary. They didn't need to do it. But they wanted to do it because they, the people making The Mandalorians, are the same people like me who would be sitting in their chair spilling their beer if that happened and they were the viewer. And they knew what would be a beer spilling, and it was worth it. I wasn't even mad. I let that beer sit there until I finished that goddamn scene. Then I went and got a wet cloth and cleaned my chair. The chair is fine. So, I know you guys were very concerned about my chair. But, yeah. Okay, this video is going to be like half an hour long unless, like 40 minutes if I don't stop here. So, alright. This is my reaction to the amazing moment. I've been waiting over 20 goddamn years for this shit. I hope you guys can feel my passion. This video is not intended to get any views. This is not intended for anything. It's just something I wanted to get out before I get another video finished for Christmas out. And I knew I couldn't wait any longer. I kept making, but this week, of course, the week leading up to Christmas is always super busy for everybody. I really wanted to make this video over the weekend when Mandalorian happened, but I just, things got pushed. So I'm really sorry about that, guys. But, yeah, this video is more just for me, just to get my thoughts out in case you guys were curious. Yeah, either way, Star Wars, greatest film franchise of all time for me. I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love Lord of the Rings. The only way I justify it is that Lord of the Rings are the greatest books ever written, Star Wars the greatest movies ever made, and that way I can still say they're both the best. That's the way I do it. But to me, growing up with it, it's, of course, one big part will always be nostalgia for the trilogies. But for me, Star Wars is still one of, it's just the greatest. It's the greatest, guys. And this past Friday showed that Star Wars can still after over 20 years, I can jump out of the seat excited. Just like I'm a little kid at Christmas. So, Jon Favreau and all the people involved with The Mandalorian, they knew what they were doing. They did something right. Either way, alright, let's end this video before it's 45 minutes long. Like, comment, and subscribe, everybody. This has been Griever. Drink responsibly as always. Let's do that. Let's do that to piss everybody off. Alright, live long and prosper. See you later. Nah, just kidding. May the Force be with you. And you. And you. And Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to all you Force believers.